So today we are going to see how to set up a local repository for our Ambari. So you need to understand first and the foremost what is the motivation of having a local repository set up. Now, if you have observed all this while, everything gets downloaded from the network. Everything, which when I say everything means all the repositories, jars, uh, all the tar balls, everything gets downloaded from the internet, which means that you should have a very good internet connectivity. Okay, and also it means that you are going to download a lot of data. Almost you are going to download 5 gig of data, which is going to incur a network bandwidth consumption. Okay, so my first concern is how can I reduce my network bandwidth consumption, because that's chargeable, right? So how can I reduce my network bandwidth consumption? Now, the second important concern is that everything it is downloaded over the network, correct? Which means all the time, your machine should be connected to network, internet. Should be connected to internet. But you need to understand, in production, none of your machine will be connected to network. For security purposes, none of your machines which are part of the cluster will be connected to internet. In that case, how will you do? For example, how will you do this installation? How will you do the upgradation? If some upgradation is required, how do you do that? So in that case, you have to do this local repository setup. Okay, but the machine where you are doing the local repository setup, that should be connected to internet, because from the internet only you are going to download the repositories. So this is, let's say, a machine which is connected to internet, and the rest of the machines which are part of the cluster, they are not connected to the internet. So the entire repository setup or entire repositories, so whenever you do any installation, everything will be taken from here. So right now, whenever you do yum -y yum install, so this yum install will look out the repository file, and if you look out the current Ambari repository files, it is pointed to the internet. So because of security reasons, and also to minimize the network bandwidth consumption, you actually go for a local repository setup. Okay. So as I've just explained you, in a real-time scenario, your machines which are part of the cluster, they are not connected to internet for the security reasons. And that's the first thing, and what you need. And also the second thing, downloading a repository from the internet can be time consuming. So setting up the local repository will save the network bandwidth consumptions. So those are the two things. These are the two major reasons because of which you should go for a repository, because you should go for a local repository setup, so that all the repositories, all the Ambari repositories, and everything is downloaded, is pre-downloaded on a machine, and you use that machine as an repository machine. So you download everything on this machine, and you use this repository machine. You use this machine as a repository machine. Currently, I am gonna show you the repository setup only for the Ambari. Only for Ambari, I'm going to show you the repository setup only for Ambaris. only for Ambari and HDP. Okay, why? And when I'm saying only, it's basically you can also create the repository setup. You can also create a local repository for your OS as well, which I'm not gonna show you. But if you really want to do that, I can give you the document how to do that. You can also create your local repository for your OS. For whatever OS you are using, you can create the local repository setup for that. But right now, I'm going to show you how to create the local repository setup for your Ambari and HTTP components.
So, Som, during Ambari installation, it downloads the JDK also. So, when you say Ambari, is it assuming JDK is already installed, or
No, no,
it will
this
get downloaded from?
not download the JDK freehand. Beforehand, we are going to download the JDK. Okay.
Okay, thanks. Yes, yes.
So right now, I'm going to install. Okay. Now, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna the first and the foremost thing, a couple of things which we do it is we are going to download the tarballs, the repository tarballs for Ambari. Then we are going to download the HDP tarball, HDP utils, and some of the required softwares. Then we are going to make our machine. Then we are going to create download. We are going to make our machine. We are going to install the HTTP server in that machine. We are going to HTTP. We are going to install HTTP server, and we are going to host our repository. Okay. So let us do that activity. We'll follow the hands-on document to do this. And let me bring up a machine, and I will exclusively make a this machine as my the one machine I will make as my repository machine. Just as a repository machine, I'll take up this machine, and I don't require a hi-fi machine here, so I can go for a smaller instance here, maybe t2.micro or t2.small.
So, but this AWS is always connected to the internet.
That's why, no, that is the reason that it's always connected to very good internet.
No, no. Actually, my question is, when we try to set up the Ambari in the nodes, in the cluster nodes,
You
but they are
can
always because those nodes are always connected to the internet, right?
you create the security groups and make it connected to the network. It is not always connected to network. You make it connected to network by opening all the ports. You disable the 8080
Okay,
port,
okay,
your no internet connection will be done.
okay, okay, okay. Yeah, makes sense. Thanks.
Sajid here. Here, which type of instance we need to create?
I can actually go for a T2
Yes,
dot
sir.
small or T2 dot small, but then I'm looking out for some network performance also here. But for this Red Hat
Okay.
Linux, I'm not seeing any T2 dot small.
Okay.
I'm not seeing any T2 dot small. Why I don't know.
Hmm.
So what I'm gonna do here is I will go for a
Okay.
M3 dot large machine, which has a lesser this thing.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay. Yeah.
network performance is moderate. Configure instance
Yeah.
details. I require a good amount of storage, so I will actually go for a 80 GB. Of, let me say 50 GB right now. Then
Okay.
SSD is fine. Yeah, SSD is fine. Add the tags, and here I can add a name tag which is says that Ambari local repository, local repo. So this machine is just acting. It will be just acting as a local repository machine. I don't want. I'm just telling you, but I might install my Ambari here also. So because I don't want to waste the machine just for this local repository. Configure security group. I can take up my this security group. Let me see custom TCP rule all traffic. Okay. Then review and launch. Launch. Let me. Okay. So let us follow these steps once my machine is up. So this is my new machine, which I've just brought it up. And please understand, right now I am just making my machine to our repository machine. Okay, so let me first install the duplicate.
Yeah.
Okay, now let me install my PostgreSQL server, NTP, Red Hat LSB, and HTTPD. Okay, so it is going to install my PostgreSQL server, NTP, Red Hat LSB, and HTTPD. The PostgreSQL server is required by your Ambari server. So right now it's okay. I'm just installing the PostgreSQL server, but I might not need it. And if you see that it is going to download 186 components. But right now the internet connectivity is very fast, so it should not take much time. So we are going to have the HTTPD server up and running. So, and also we are going to first make sure that it enables the NTPD and everything. So sudo system. So right, okay. So where is it? It's still going on. It's done. And then I'm going to first enable my NTPD, and then I'm going to start that NTPD service. I can always check my status. It should be, just check the status of the NTPD. It should be active. Yeah. You can see that it's active over here. Okay, I can always stop my firewall, but it's okay if this is required if you're running on a virtual machine. Okay, now you are going to edit this file. We are going to edit this file wherein we are going to provide the server name as the host name :80 sudo vi, and I can search for server name. So if you see here, the server name right now it is commented. Right now it is commented. So you have to uncomment this, and in place of here, you give your host name of the machine. Host name of your machine. So I'm going to uncomment this, and my host name I forgot. So let me just say host name. This is my host name of this machine, and so that's the host name of my machine I've given, and I'm gonna restart my HTTPD service. I can give here as a restart, so it will stop, and then I can check the status of my HTTPD. It should be up and running. Yes, it is active. In order to check whether HTTPD is running or not properly, what we are going to see is whatever the host name we have given and :80, we will give that. So I will take up my public IP address. I will just print it. It should bring up that page. So if you see this page, that means your HTTP server is up and running. If you're not seeing this page, that means there is some problem. So currently we are seeing this page, so which means our server is up and running. Now the step 5, we are going to download the Ambari and the HTTP repository. So we are first going to download here. So I will go to this machine, go to my machine, and it's gonna take few minutes. wget CentOS, so it is going to download 483 megabytes of repository onto our machine.
Uh, so
Yeah,
uh, actually, one doubt is here. When we are installing with the internet connectivity, there we downloaded dot repo. Here we didn't download the dot repo.
no, we will not download the .repo. We will create our own .repo file. That's what we are
So
doing in the repository, no?
actually, so what are we downloading here? This dot gz. Is it the binary?
Of course, it is the binaries. Of course, these are the binaries which we are going to host on our machine. You understand the concept of a server, right?
Yeah.
In server we host something. What do we host in
Yeah.
our server? Some file, some data, and a lot of other things, so that others can download it. So similar way, we are going to host these binaries. Okay?
So actually, my question was: these are the binaries of the HDP, right?
Of course. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Now we are going to download the HTTP repositories, and okay, wget, and this time it's going to download 3.5 gigabytes of your HTTP components, which is going to take somewhere around 2 to 3 minutes. So we are going to download it. So in the real time, if you download from the network, can you see that how much network consumption will be done? 3.5 gigs, 483 megabytes. But since on the AWS you don't feel this anywhere, because the network on the AWS machines are pretty high, pretty good. That's why you don't feel that it happens very quickly. But the moment you start doing on your data centers or the machines, you will see that it's going to take too much of a time.
Um, yes, understood. Yeah. So actually, I have one more question here. So as part of the initial download of these binaries, are we going to download two binaries? One is the HDP, actual Hadoop binaries, and the other one is Ambari server binary. If I'm, is
See,
that correct?
they're going to download three repositories. One is utils repository, also it requires.
Uh, See, actually, when we download through Ambari server, we first downloaded the Ambari server, and then using Ambari server, we downloaded the
You never go
HDP
right.
binary.
You didn't. When you're talking about the internet connectivity, the earlier thing,
Yeah,
the earlier
actually,
thing,
I'm just
earlier thing you
trying
never
to
go.
understand between.
Yeah, please open your Ambari.repo file. If you have it, I don't have it right now. I cannot show you. But in the Ambari.repo file, you will see the base URL which is pointing to Hortonworks. Okay, and whenever you do yum minus y install Ambari, it will try to go to that particular site and bring all the necessary components to you, and you don't know whether it's an HDP or it's an Ambari. It will bring it behind the scenes for you. Right now you are seeing that I'm downloading Ambari repo. Yes, I'm downloading Ambari repo because there is an Ambari thing. Ambari uses HDP, that's why I'm downloading HDP also. And later on, if
Oh,
I need a Spark, I will download the Spark also. If I need all the necessary binaries, I will download the necessary binaries for me, and I will host it. Right now you are
okay.
using only HDP. Tomorrow I might need
HTTP.
Spark, which is comes as a different binary. I will download it. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, thanks, Om.
Yeah, I think it's somewhere. What happened? Somewhere got disconnected. It's a very big file, 3.5 gigs, so it has got somewhere. By I hope there shouldn't be any lag. Yeah, and now the third, we are going to download the utils. Should be less, 695 MB. Yeah, so it should not take much time. But try downloading on your machine. It's gonna take too much of a time.
Yes, that's correct because speed is almost 33 Mbps.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. So if I see here, all of my three tarballs are present here: HDP, HDP utils, and whatever, and Ambari. And first and the foremost, I'm going to create. This is the directory from which your web pages are being hosted using through your HTTP server. I think it should be present. Let me just check cd var www. Yeah, it's already present. So this is from these places you need to keep all your repositories. Okay, and so sudo tar minus zxf um, ambari dot tar dot z dot. So I am actually what happened? Sudo cp oh I don't know if I has got created the problem in the first place. RM minus F. I can delete this um, CZ file.
No, it's not deleted.
Okay, and then I need to create the HDP folder. Okay, sudo mkdir HDP, and I will sudo HDP sudo cp. I will copy my HDP star to this particular folder. It's going to take some time because we are going to copy 3.5 gig of data. And once you do that, again you have to untar it, and that's it. Your job will be done. So ls star minus zxf HTTP utils. I've always made that mistake. Sudo star minus zxf sudo star minus zxf. I will untar my HTTP. Give me 1 minute. Okay. Sudo rm minus f. Now, what we have to do, since I've already created the repositories, we will go here and I say slash Ambari, and it should show me the repositories. You can see that now I'm able to see my repositories which I have hosted via my browser. I can go inside, and whatever I want to do it, I can see all those things, right? Now, similarly, I can also check out for my HTTP. I say slash HTTP because I've created that folder. So you can see that under HTTP we have untarred our HTTP and HTTP utils, which you have seen that here. So this is the entire directory structure which you can see under var www.html, because all the pages are hosted from var www.html. So whenever I say slash Ambari, it was showing me under Ambari what all things are there. And it's the same thing if you go inside CD Ambari, and you will see the same things. Whatever you are seeing on the saw on the UI on the browser, you will see the same directory structures and everything. So that completes your, actually you have now hosted your Ambari and HTTP repository. Now the next part is how to use this Ambari and how to use your local repository setup for downloading and installing the Ambari. Okay, you can use this machine, whatever machine, as a separate machine where you are hosted your repositories. But I don't want to waste this machine. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use this machine and I will install my Ambari here. Okay, so there should not be any confusion. So CD, and the first thing, everything is done through your Ambari.repository, right? You have to modify your Ambari.repo. Now, first and foremost, what is the location of repositories file? etc yum.repos.d, and that's the your all your repository file. Okay. So what we will do, we'll change our. Okay. First, what I'm gonna do. This is how the from the internet. If you download the Ambari repositories, it will look like this. I have just downloaded and kept into my Ambari.repo into my location. Okay. If you see that if I download from the internet, so the Ambari.repo will look like this. Please observe the base URL. The base URL, it is http://public repo1 hortonworks.com Ambari CentOS 7 2.x updates 2.1.0. Okay, let me just, if you we just need to change this. Actually, we need to change this part, public repo1 hortonworks.com, to our host name, because we are hosting our HTTP server. So but just please make sure that this entire thing exists, because I'm just going to change this particular part, public repo1 hortonworks.com. I will be replacing this with the my host name of the machine where my HTTP server is running, or where I'm hosting my repositories. But I just wanted to make sure that this entire path exists. So I'll go to my browser. Yep, entire thing exists, right? And you can click on the Ambari.repo, it will show you the same thing. That's fine, perfectly fine. Okay, and sudo vi. Okay, before that, I will get my. I'll take my host name of my machine. I'll copy my host name. I will just replace the um, this particular public repo one with my host name. I can make the GPG check as 0, so that there is no checking of the GPG check. So this will be, you can leave as is, because GPG check is 0. So it will not do this validation. Or else if you want to change it, you can change it. It will not have any effect because the GPG check is 0. Okay, and enabled, you need to make sure it is enabled, because this repository has to be enabled. So it has to be enabled priority 1. Okay, and that's the first thing. That's it. Now, did you understood now, Vipin? You asked me a question. How do I change it now? Now, is it pointing?
Yeah.
Byte.repo is pointing to your repository. Now, if you say yum repo list, it should list my. Oh, okay. Sorry. It should be sudo yum repo list. It should actually display. Should display my this Ambari 2.1 whatever 2.1 and everything.
So I have one question here. So assuming that if I am doing this installation from a different node, in that case, I'll be downloading this repo file into that node, right?
Of course, it's.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Now I can do this JDK installation, because I'm not going to download. There is a way to have this JDK also to be downloaded as a part of the repository. So, but yes, what I'm doing right now, I'm installing the JDK. tar minus zxf. Copy paste side effects. Moving to a location, user local Java, sudo user local Java, and then you have this um, environment variables being specified in your bash rc file. These are the couple of steps which we are being doing in our file. Then we're gonna source it. This bash rc file, so the environment variables which we have just created, it is known to the OS. For the time you can always change. Now you say Java minus version to check what version of Java. It would tell me 1.8, whatever we have downloaded. So this is the one which we have downloaded, 1.8, that's one dot, right, that one, and 102. Now, after doing that, you're going to install your Ambari server. Now, this time it will be downloaded from your local thing, from your local repository. Sudo yum minus y install Ambari server. Okay. Now Ambari server is done. You have installed the Ambari server. Now what you're gonna do? We are going to say sudo Ambari server setup minus j dollar $java underscore home. And if you remember, we have already installed the PostgreSQL server, and we can go with the default thing. Yes. Customize user account. No. Database configuration. No.
So, one question here: if we don't have any that PostgreSQL, otherwise it would download it on the fly, right?
It will not download.
Because we already had an instance, right?
Yeah. It will not download. Sudo. Now what we're gonna do is to start our Ambari server. Sudo service Ambari hyphen server start. You should also look out. You should also have the habit of looking the logs. So where run, you can actually look out this logs. Where if where log Ambari server dot log to find out whether if to figure it out, to see if anything is going wrong. Or you can also see that if to understand what all things it does behind the scenes. Okay, and now let me see um, colon 8080, and that should bring up my admin, the Ambari UI. Admin training. So that's your Ambari server setup using local repository. Now we do a one node Hadoop setup using local repository. Now from henceforth, I will be using a local repository for anything. So for main node, for upgradation, for LDAP, or anything, we'll be using a local repository. No, we'll not download anything from the internet anymore. So launch is, so we'll bring up one more Hadoop cluster. Cluster name will be let's say test cluster. Next, HDB 2.3. Now here, advanced repository options, you need to understand, I have not actually looked onto it. And when we are doing from the internet, okay? Now here we are going to change this. So what I did actually when I was, why I cannot go, so you ask whatever the Slack available stack with this Ambari 2.1.0 version of with this Ambari 2.1.0 version, you have this maximum stack HTTP 2.3. Then you have clicked on the advanced repository options. Now here you see that what is the OS you are using? You are using the Red Hat 7 OS. So we're going to uncheck this. And now, if you see this, the HDP 2.3 and the HDP utils repo, it is pointing, it is actually public repo 1, HortonworksHadoop.com. And now you understand that now we have to replace it with our hostname, where we have hosted our Ambari server.
Okay.
So I'm going to unselect this, both of them, and this. So let me take up my hostname. I so this should be marked as okay. This thing says that it is not working, or else it should have been given us the proper this. It is clear, but remember it. We have to do one directory, so it should be HTTP slash. It should be HTTP slash. And then when I say next, okay, this is it has gone tick. This is fine, but this has gone. This is the problem here. So what is the problem? Let's see. Under HTTP, we are HTTP sent to a 7 2.3.6.0. Okay. What do we have actually? Let us figure it out. It could be some minor version problem somewhere. Slash HTTP under HTTP center 7 2.x updates 2.3.0. Okay. But it is 2.3.6.0, right? So it is 2.3.0.0. Can you see that here? So we have to actually this and then when I say next, so both are fine. Now I want to make my current host name also my current host name as my. I want to install HTTP on my current host also. So I will give I'll give the host name, the PEM file. This training.pem. Okay, it will be easy to use there. But this time, I'm not going to use the SSH private key, but I'm going to do the manual registration. Okay, so if you go for a manual registration, I'm not going to use the PEM file because the PEM file it will download the Ambari from the net, right? I don't want to do that. This time I will show you that how to do a manual registration. So when you say by not SSH to connect to target host, you must manually install and start the Ambari agent on each host in order for the visa to perform the necessary configuration software installs. Okay, so I will say okay. I will go to my machine, and this is the machine wherein I'm going to install first my Ambari agent. Yum install Ambari -agent. I'm installing my Ambari agent and sudo service Ambari agent start. Okay, and then you can go here, register and confirm, and it says that you must install Ambari agents, which we have done. On each host you want to manage before you proceed. I say okay. Okay, so all the host checks are passed. So I click on next. I don't want to start all the services. So if you see that it has brought up all the services. So, but I need only um, a couple of things only. Zookeeper. I require Ambari metrics. Sliders path. I click on next. It's okay. It has chosen the masters on its own. Okay, I have only one master. Let it choose him. It will ask me to choose the clients. So data node it's already selected. Node manager also selected. Client is already selected. Next. It's okay. It is a name node directories which we know everything about this. So I'll just click on the next and deploy. So everything is getting downloaded from the local repository. So I hope it's pretty straightforward to do that. Once you have the local repository set up, the rest of the things remains the same what you have done, what you have done it previously with the internet. Only thing that only difference is everything is downloaded from the local repository, and something has gone wrong very badly. What has happened? Let us see data not install. What does it say? It says the execution of this particular thing packet snap devil hyphen 106 requires snap 686. It's installed. Okay. Okay, let me just quickly see what could be the reason. Yum list grep snap. Okay, it says that this one is already installed and it requires this. Now that command should pass. Yep, it got passed. Only thing I just needed to remove that. So let me say retry. Yeah, it got passed. Meanwhile, I'll also bring two other machines so that it's a 3 node Hadoop cluster. And tomorrow we can start with our HDP. I mean to say, tomorrow we can start with the HA, name node HA. I need two such machines. Add storage 20. Let me add storage 40. I can use my existing security groups and say launch the instances. And this time I can bring up both of the both of the nodes parallelly.
So,
Yep.
so uh, in real scenarios, so do companies use local installation, or some are okay with internet installation as
All
well?
are
I mean,
local.
what's the
Local.
percentage?
100%, 200 percentage, all production systems uses local repository setup.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
Okay, done, complete. So that's your one node HDP. Okay. one node HTTP cluster is up and running. Now let us add both of them, the other two machines that I just brought up, and make us a 3 node group setup.
So your voice is not clear.
I'm saying now, is it clear now? Is it
Yes.
clear now?
Yeah, but it's breaking today a lot.
Oh, is it? Not sure.
Yes.
So what I'm saying right now, so that the two machines which we have just brought up, we are going to add them up and make a 3 node Hadoop cluster. I'm just changing the tags so that we know which machine we are going to change. So let me just change. Let me just go with the by data node 2. Now is it okay? If no voice is coming, hello, 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 hello. Can you hear me? So I'm using hello, hello, hello.
Thanks.
Now what we're gonna do is the rest of the machines which we have just brought up, the two machines. So we are going to do the necessary setup and make a 3 node Hadoop cluster. So okay. Mhm. Now first and foremost, sudo yum -y install wget. Okay.
So now we are creating a 3 node cluster, right?
Yeah. So I'm adding one more node. Yes. Now, uh, then in the new machine, what we're going to do here is again we have to download the Ambari.repo, right? And then also we have to install the JDK. So we'll install the JDK. So first, let us quickly install the JDK, and the NTPD also we require, right? If you remember, sudo yum -y install NTPD. Okay, you have installed the NTPD. Then we have to start the NTPD. Sudo systemctl start NTPD. Sudo systemctl enable NTPD. Also, it's better to check the status. It's active. Then we're going to download the JDK. ls star -zxf JDK. Then we're going to move it to the location. Then change our bash.rc file, update our bash.rc file with the environment variables. Okay, and then source it. Check the version of the Java. It should be 1.8, correct? And then you can actually, now we need to change, we need to download, we will download the Ambari.repo and change um, the location of the, they'll change the base URL. Sudo vi ambari.repo, and we will make this as a GPG check 0, and we need to change this particular um, address or this particular line with the host, with the host name of the machine where we have hosted our repositories. Host name, this is my host name. Okay. Oh, it has not changed. I thought it has got changed. Oh, let me just give me one exchange like slash percentage s. I'm not sure this is a command. This is how to do slash g. No, I forgot. Maybe I'll try it later. So change it here as well. And now that's it. So sudo yum minus y. Okay, before that you can always say sudo yum repo list. So it should display your Ambari repositories, which is coming from your local repository machine. Okay, now you say sudo yum minus y install Ambari agent. Okay. Now what we're gonna do before we start our Ambari agent, we need to tell our Ambari agent where is this Ambari server running. Correct? We have not told him. We have to tell him where is the Ambari server running. It should not. It will not automatically come to know. etc Ambari agent. We have one file. It's a directory. So let's go with ctconf ls ambari agent.ini. We are going to open this file, and here we are going to tell that where is our Ambari server running. So instead of localhost, we have to give the host name of the machine where our Ambari server is running. So that's this. That's it. I have to do this, and then I say sudo service Ambari agent start. I will also log. I will also see whether if anything wrong is there. So tail minus F. So I think there is as such nothing which is wrong because it has received the heartbeat. So that is fine. It has started the Ambari agent. Similarly, what I'm going to do is to do the same set of activities on the other machine. SSH minus I, EC2-user at. Let me first install sudo yum minus y, install wget. Then let us install sudo yum minus y, install mtp. Once installed, let's restart sudo systemctl start ntpd. Similarly, enable this sudo systemctl enable ntpd. Yeah, and then better to check sudo systemctl status ntpd. It should be active. Correct. Once you have done that, let us install jdk. tar minus zxf. Then moving to the location, then changing our bash rc file, sourcing our bash rc file, and let's check the Java version. Okay, then we will take up our Ambari repository. Just download this Ambari repository, Ambari repo file, and we will change it. Sudo vi etc yum.repos.d ambari.repo, and we're gonna remove this by the host name of our repository machine. Okay, and then I'll say sudo yum repo list to check out here. Yes, I can do that. Then I can install. Then I can install my Ambari agent. Before starting Ambari agent, we are gonna change the um, INI file of Ambari agent to point to the correct host name of Ambari server. Once provided, you start the Ambari agent. And look out for the heartbeat response, whether it has received or not. Yes, it has received the heartbeat response, so that means it's fine. Okay, now let's go back to our UI, Ambari UI, and let us add up both hosts. So add new hosts. Perform manual registration, and we will say register and confirm. My voice is okay, right? It's audible.
Yes, so
No, there are no problems. All the host text passed. It's green. I can select. I can now I have to just choose the appropriate processors. I'm going to choose them. Next, next, deploy. It will take some time.
One question I have out of curiosity, like in real this production, even though we are using Ambari, but still we are doing a lot of work, like manual work. So, are there any other things to automate all this, or this is the way it has to be in the production?
In the local repository setup, no, I mean to say you can do further automation and everything, but you have to write a couple of steps.
Your voice is not again clear.
You have to write a scripts. Actually, you can do all these steps. I have just shown you different ways. You don't if actually you can store the you can make the Ambari to install JDK from your repository also. You can do that. Right now it downloads it, right? So you can actually point it to download from your local repository. It can be automated. I have really not tried it, so I cannot tell you, but it can be automated. But you have to download the JDK beforehand and push and put into your repository, and then you have to tell the Ambari server that whenever you need JDK, you have to download from this location. Okay.
So, and for the other steps of in which we were configuring the agents, that we have to do manually, right? There
That
cannot be any automation there.
No, if see, manual registration is one way, right? You can give an SSH, and it can also do the same way. See, I have done two steps. I have in the previous scenario, I have given the PEM file and it was automatically downloading it, right? You can still do the
Yeah.
same. It will not ask you. I have shown you some other way of doing this activity.
Okay.
I have just shown you some other ways so that you should not be under the impression that always the SSH is there. You should also know that manual registration is also possible. And when you do the manual registration, you have to tell Ambari server. Maybe I have tell you at the wrong time. Maybe because I am doing a local repository setup app, and I am telling you here. Maybe I should have told you while internet network connectivity together. I mean, when we were doing the internet connectivity, I should have told you this also, so that there is no confusion.
Okay,
but
okay.
it can be done,
Yeah.
and it will be when you provide the PEM file, it will um, it will automatically set the correct uh, Ambari server in the Ambari agent INI file. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Now this is
Yes.
the
Thanks,
same.
Om.
This is the same problem.
So, in production, like we get these kind of issues, and this is the way we have to resolve it, right?
Yeah.
It's not that Ambari will do everything of its own,
No.
even though it's locally present.
Yeah. So all these things has to be removed.
So one more thing is that when we were doing it through internet, at the time we didn't get uh, uh, this error. So any reason why we are getting now?
Not sure. It is able to resolve it automatically on its own, and it's here it is not
Okay,
able to resolve. Not sure.
okay, okay, yeah. So, but I mean, with this exercise, it would mean that if like chances are we'll get these kind of errors, and we have to
Of course,
manually
these are
resolve all of them.
of course these kinds of errors you expect. These kinds of errors you will get it. Again, I got for
Yes,
some reasons. What is it?
yeah.
Sudo. What is it?
Sudo we have to do there.
Error package. It is trying to install this. Let me. See. Okay, that's fast. Next, and that completes your 3-node Hadoop setup using local repository. In the next class, we will see that how to do a name node chain, and name node HA means HDFS HA and yarn HA. So you can see here 3 by 3 data nodes. Okay.
Yes.